Are you frustrated with digestive issues like bloating, gas, constipation, and abdominal pain? Despite eating a healthy diet and following the advice of doctors and nutritionists to eat lots of vegetables, have you found that antibiotics and herbs don't seem to provide long-term relief? There could be a hidden cause behind your digestive problems: oxalate. In this video, we'll delve into the role of oxalate in gut health and how it might be contributing to your symptoms. We'll also discuss why conventional medicine have limited knowledge about this topic. As this is a basic video on oxalates, and cover a basic diet guideline to get things started. To better understand our beliefs about food, it's important to understand the history and policy behind them. Oxalate is a tiny molecule that is naturally occurring and can have toxic, corrosive effects on the body. Despite its small size, it can cause significant problems in various organs and tissues, including the kidneys, bladder, and joints. It has also been linked to conditions such as autism, inflammatory bowel disease, and cystic fibrosis. Where it comes from. Oxalate is a compound that is found in some plants and foods. It is present in varying amounts in different types of plants, with some plants containing very high levels of oxalate foods like spinach, black pepper, turmeric, berries, chocolate, potatoes, beans, grains like wheat, amaranth, and nuts. Nature has built-in defense mechanisms to protect plants from being eaten by humans or other predators. This is why some of the most nutritious or healthy foods can also be more dangerous to consume, as they are equipped with more protective barriers. To protect themselves from being eaten by humans or other predators, plants have developed defense mechanisms such as toxic chemicals. These chemicals serve as warning signs to potential consumers, reminding us not to eat certain plants or their offspring. While humans and animals have weapons like claws, horns, and fangs to defend themselves, plants must rely on stationary strategies like toxic chemicals to protect themselves. In other words, once a hunter bypasses the animal's defenses, the hunt is over, as opposed to the plant's defenses, which involve poisonous effects on the hunter. You must be thinking chia seeds, spinach, and chocolate, these are supposed to be the healthy foods, right? While fatty meats are not? But what is a healthy food and where does belief come from? To do so, we must look back in history facts and where we have been conditioned to believe such beliefs before continuing with the topic of oxalates. The demonized fat. In 1961, a new food guideline was issued after President Eisenhower had a heart attack and the cause was unknown. Ancel Keys, some call him the man who ruined the world, an American physiologist from the University of Minnesota, believed that dietary saturated fat was the cause of heart disease and should be avoided. Ancel Keys, an American physiologist, argued that saturated fats and cholesterol were the cause of heart disease and spent billions of dollars in an attempt to prove his hypothesis. This led to a shift towards lower fat, higher sugar foods in order to maximize profits for corporations and their shareholders. It is often easier and more cost-effective for companies to grow wheat and produce cereals and process dried foods than to raise livestock, which requires a longer growth period. Keys conducted a case study on 7 countries, but he handpicked which ones to include by starting with 22 countries and only including the ones that supported his theory. The final countries included in the study were Japan, Italy, Great Britain, Australia, Canada, and the US. Since the 1970s, consumption of sugar has increased by over 40%, and the obesity rate among adults in the United States has more than doubled. It's interesting to note that the Eskimos of northern Canada and Russia, who primarily eat high-fat fish and seal, did not have cases of heart disease or diabetes before the introduction of modern Western diets like the standard American diet. The food pyramid. In 1992, the USDA released a new food pyramid that emphasized grains as the foundation of a healthy diet. This pyramid has been linked to an increase in obesity, diabetes, cancer, and heart disease. The U.S. Department of Agriculture and Congress have a history of promoting the interests of the food industry, sometimes at the expense of the public's health. The USDA's food pyramid guidelines, for example, were designed to support industrial agriculture rather than provide healthy eating recommendations. Congress has also passed legislation to benefit large food companies, such as by blocking attempts to revise the school lunch program. Thanks to lobbying efforts by large food companies like Schwan's and Conagra Foods, Congress has protected their interests by classifying pizza sauce as a vegetable. Now I have no problem with tomatoes or tomato sauce, but to classify that as a food means all those unhealthy ingredients goes with it. This decision, which may seem absurd, was the result of the influence of these companies on Congress. The New York Times reported on this issue in an article titled "Congress Blocks New Rules on School Lunches." You can find a link to the article below. Good advice about nutrition conflicts with the interests of many big industries, each of which has more lobbying power than all the public interest groups combined, said Michael Jacobson, Ph.D. in microbiology, co-founder of the Center for Science in the Public Interest. As we can see, the food we eat and our understanding of it is often influenced by large corporations, particularly in America. These beliefs are then often adopted as the standard of health around the world. The toxic effects of oxalate on the body. Oxalate is a toxic molecule that can cause a range of health problems when present in high levels in the body. It can interfere with the absorption of minerals such as calcium, magnesium, and zinc, and may also bind to toxic metals like lead, mercury, aluminum, and cadmium. High levels of oxalate can damage the lining of the digestive system, leading to leaky gut or other gastrointestinal issues. It can also trigger inflammation, which can affect the brain and nerves, hormones, autoimmunity, and connective tissues. In addition, oxalate may deplete the body's stores of vitamin B6 and biotin, and can contribute to a variety of problems throughout the body, including kidney damage, breathing difficulties, urinary issues and genital pain, sleep and mood issues, and joint and bone instability and dental problems. It can also accelerate aging and make a person feel old prematurely. Older people may be more susceptible to the toxic effects of oxalate due to decreased efficiency in their kidneys and digestive processes. It cannot be resolved by boosting liver function, as is often done in detox regimes. According to studies, doctors often only view oxalate as a threat to the kidneys, but it is much more widespread than that. How can I determine if oxalates are a problem for me? It can be difficult to identify whether oxalate is causing health problems because many people with high levels of oxalate in their bodies don't show any symptoms. If you have high levels of oxalate in your urine, it could mean that your body is able to remove it, even if you have a lot of it in your body or if you eat a lot of it. This might be a good sign, because it means your body is able to get rid of the oxalate and prevent it from causing problems. However, it is important to remember that urine tests for oxalate are not always reliable, and other factors can also affect your body's ability to get rid of oxalate. If you experience 3 or more of the following symptoms, it is possible that reducing your consumption of oxalate may improve your health. Kidney infections, thyroid disorders, vulvodynia, fibromyalgia, vision problems, carpal tunnel, cognitive problems, candida overgrowth, leaky gut, inability to fully recover from injuries or surgery, gastric bypass, recurring pain, stiffness or pain in the back, frequently cloudy urine, difficulty sleeping. Try the diet. It is the best test to know. When starting a low oxalate diet, it's important to remember that your symptoms may worsen or fluctuate before improving. This may be due to cells releasing stored oxalate, which can be damaging to the body. It is important to continue following the diet in order to support the healing process. To avoid experiencing intense detox symptoms, it's recommended to gradually reduce your intake of high oxalate foods rather than cutting them out all at once. One approach is to have your consumption of these foods in the first week, then have them again in the second week, and so on. This step-by-step approach can help your body adjust to the changes in your diet. Watch till the end of the video for a list of low and high oxalates foods. Treatment for oxalates sensitivity symptoms starts with nutrition. Chemicals that is naturally found in lime, lemon, and apple cider vinegar can break up small calcium oxalate stones, which makes it easier for the fragments to pass through the urine and urinary system. There are, however, certain dietary supplements to help prevent further build-up crystals like potassium and calcium citrate. Oxalate is a potentially harmful so much that the word assassin is derived from the political killings that utilize plant-derived drugs, such as oxalates. It is important to be aware of the sources of oxalate in your diet and to take steps to limit your intake if necessary. Consuming sugary foods, taking rounds of antibiotics, experiencing stress, not getting enough sleep, and drinking alcohol can all weaken the body's ability to fight against the potential harmful effects of oxalates, particularly for those who may be more susceptible to oxalate-related issues. By following a low-oxalate diet and being mindful of your oxalate intake, you can potentially improve your digestive symptoms and overall health. Please share, subscribe, and like our video to help spread the message and bring you more information on the topic. If you would like us to make more videos on the topic of oxalates or health, just leave a comment below in brackets.